All right, we are live and we are doing a quick stream. Let's go. Let's go to a shortcut. X20. Analyze my X feed, review the latest 150 posts, ignore the noise, and give me the top 20 highest signal posts. Let's get some interesting things. One very interesting thing that I just found is Elon Musk just got Macrohard. So let's see. Elon Musk Macrohard launch as a competitor to Microsoft. Takes on Bill Gates' Microsoft with Macrohard. Officially announced the launch of a new AI-driven software company called Macrohard on August 22. Spearheaded by his AI initiative, XAI aims to create a purely AI software company capable of simulating the operations of major software enterprises, specifically referencing Microsoft. Tongue-in-cheek play on Microsoft and his Microsoft is meant to signal a direct challenge to the tech giant in the AI landscape. Vision is to use thousands of specialized generative AI agents to mimic and automate every aspect of a modern software company. This would include designing, coding, generating human speech and text, and even video game development, all through AI. Trademark filings for Macrohard were, trademark filings have been made. Were made by XAI on August 1, 2025, covering a broad array. I think it clearly understands the mimetic effect of it, like the fact that you have something called Macrohard that will be memed into existence. That will be memed to existence. People will love and share and just talk about how weird and bizarre that is, and just that is going to get a lot of attention. Covering broad array of AI-driven products and services such as AI speech production, chatbot software, tools for coding, and creative work. And I think they're calling it Macrohard doors. Instead of Windows, what they have is Windows. Microsoft Windows, they got Macrohard doors. Closely connected to XAI's Colossus supercomputers in Memphis, with plans to acquire millions of NVIDIA GPUs to power its massive operations. The venture aims to target not only general software development, but also specialized enterprise solutions in sectors such as finance, healthcare, and logistics. He emphasized that since companies like Microsoft do not manufacture physical hardware, it is theoretically possible to simulate their operations entirely with AI. Stirred significant buzz online, especially with memes and social media engagement. Playful approach with the name did not overshadow the seriousness and scale of the new project. Interesting. Purely AI software company called Macrohard. And it's very interesting when he says purely software company, because he understands that, or he's like, hey, I have made a lot of really high tech, really advanced, really complicated, what do we call it? Really complicated physical hardware products. So just making purely software company shouldn't be hard for us. Macrohard Ventures LLC, incorporated in Delaware last Friday, but it's unclear whether it's linked to Musk. Whether it's linked to Musk. Okay. The market investors are closely watching Macrohard given Musk's history of disruption in sectors like electric vehicle space and social media. Have you gotten me any nice tweets over here? All right. Elon. No tweets. Wow. Aims to reshape AI-driven enterprise solutions. Give me straight from the source. Held with purely AI software company called Macrohard. It's a tongue-in-cheek name, but the project is very real. In principle, given that software companies like Microsoft do not themselves manufacture any real hardware, it should be possible to simulate them entirely with AI. Since most, it just said the same thing. Okay. All right, we have some interesting stuff happening over here. Actually, we looked into this. Do we have any latest updates? Okay. There is, so Michael Dell and XAI working together. Great to visit XAI. Colossus, to build by XAI, will be the world's first gigawatt AI training supercomputer. There's a lot of create your own on Grok, iOS, and Android. This is very interesting how you can now, I think this is very interesting. This is very interesting stuff that they are doing now. You can just pick up any image on on Twitter, you can just long press on it. There will be the option of Grok Imagine. Make this image into a video using Grok Imagine, and it will do that in like 15 seconds or something. I'm falling in love with X all over again. Really cool. What is this? Coded with Grok 4. Interactive 3D visualizer with real-time audio reactivity built using 3GS. Really cool. Really cool. I'll buy into Elon. Kobe Bryant or Elon Musk.
But his commitment and his work, like I asked him one time about how does he work. And the amount of research, the amount of study that he does is unheard of. But he'll always say the most important thing is imagination. So you can learn anything that you want to learn. You can study all these things that you have in the book. If you don't have an imagination, then take it to another level. It doesn't mean anything. And I think Elon was I sat down and spoke with Elon for a couple hours. It was really, really enjoyable. So would you buy Tesla stock then? I'll buy into Elon. Elon Musk is
I'll buy into Elon.
a genius by all means.
How to prompt Grok Imagine to make amazing images and videos. Okay, let's go back. I can reliably load and analyze 150 posts in one pass within the constraints of this environment. I would capture representative slides of your home timeline from the past day and digital high signal items below 20 posts with strong signal based on originality, data, technical depth, credible sources, actionable insight. Okay. Ethan Young XAI Grok 2.4 open sourcing. Best model from last year. I literally just read this, so this is very interesting. That is the highest signal post. Grok 3 planned to be open source in 6 months. Signals rapid openness, cadence, and potential community-driven improvements. Wait. What just happened? Oh my god. Where are the permalinks? No permalinks. Okay. So Perplexity messed up this time. XAI's Grok 2.5 is now open source. Grok 3 planned to be open source in 6 months. Signals, rapid openness, cadence, and potential community-driven improvements. Model availability on HF. Big implications for evals and downstream fine-tunes. Avi Chawla on LLM context 11th evolution. Snapshot of context growth from 3.5 to Gemini. Framing how extended context is achieved. Good primer for product decisions reliant on long context reasoning. There's actually something. Whoa, what is happening? Hey, used to work good. Is there a problem with midnight? On midnight suddenly doesn't work. I think this is the post he's talking about. Avi. Okay. 48.8 daily tutorials and insights on DS, ML, LLMs, and RAGs. Lone AI engineering co-founder at Daily Dose of Data Science. Okay. Join for free. IIT Varanasi X AI Engineer Mastercard AI. All right. And I think this is the one that is going viral. Okay. The growth of LLM context time with length. GPT 3.5 Turbo is 4K tokens. OpenAI GPT 4 is 8K tokens. Claude 200. Llama 3 128. Gemini 1 million. How they extend the context length of LLMs. Oh, this is a proper thing going on. A great breakdown. Feels like you missed the biggest piece of which is typically yawn scaling. Okay. In traditional transform model, processing 8x tokens requires 64 times more computation, increasing the size of the matrices, if you will. Check this. Visualizing attention as a directed graph, attention probability scores. It limits the attention computation to a subset of tokens by using local attention. Tokens attend only to their neighbors, letting the model learn which tokens to focus on, but this is a trade-off between computational complexity and performance. Similar idea was used in modern BERT, upgrade version of BERT with 16x larger sequence and much better downstream performance and the most memory efficient encoder. Useful global attention in every third layer. Intuitive explanation taken from the paper. Picture yourself reading a book. For every sentence you read, do you need to be fully aware of the entire plot to understand most of it? Full global attention. Or is awareness of the current chapter enough as long as you occasionally think back on its significance to the main plot? It's the latter. For every sentence you read, do you need to be fully aware of the entire plot to understand most of it? Or is awareness of the current chapter enough as long as you occasionally think back on its significance to the main plot? Wow. 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 It's crazy that these AI models are doing something like this. This question is very interesting. Picture yourself reading a book. For every sentence you read, do you need to be fully aware of the entire plot to understand most of it? Or is awareness of the current chapter enough as long as you occasionally think back on its significance to the main plot? I don't even know. I think it's not even reading a book. Just look at a movie. Like, yeah, movie. I think movie's a better example. Like when you're looking at watching a movie and a scene is happening, are you engrossed in the scene and truly enjoying that scene, or are you thinking about that how that ties into the main plot of the movie and what's going to happen next? So interesting. FlashAttention. This is a fast and memory efficient method that retains the exactness of traditional attention mechanisms. It uses global attention but efficiently. The whole idea revolves around optimizing the data movement within GPU memory. A thread is the smallest unit of execution. Several threads from a block. Threads in a block share a fast but scarce memory called SRAM. All blocks share a global memory called HBM, abundant but slow. Okay. Attention moves large matrices between SRM, HBM. Distribute matrices to threads, compute, send the product to HBM. To compute softmax, distribute products to threads, compute, send to HBM, repeat all layers. FlashAttention involves hardware level optimization wherein it utilizes SRAM to cache the intermediate results. This way it reduces redundant movements, offering a speed of up to 7.6x over standard attention methods. That's a wrap. Okay, we didn't understand most of it. This is very technical, but it was very interesting. Quick reference and for assessing trade-offs. I think that one tweet was very interesting. John Wang on prediction markets as options argues prediction markets are retail-legible options, insightful lens for PMF and growth, bridges TradFi intuition with crypto UX, helps product positioning for retail-friendly derivatives. Not working, but I think I have a question. Analyze Polymarket. Polymarket. What have we said? Review top 50 bids. Ignore the noise. And give me the top 10 highest signal bids. Let's see, this will be interesting. Analyzing Polymarket data to identify top signals among the highest bids. 2025 prediction markets. Okay. Largest company end of 2025. Oh wow. Fast. What price will Ethereum hit? Scan current high volume categories and filter down novelty noise so you can focus on tradable edges. 10 Polymarket positions to watch right now based on liquidity, event clarity. Polymarket positions. Verifiable resolution, sources, and asymmetry. Good risk, buy reward. I scan current high volume categories and filter out novelty noise so you can focus on tradable edges. Citations point to the live market hubs. Fed decision in September 25 BPS cut. Clear schedule resolution with strong macro data dependency, deep liquidity, priced around market consensus but offers hedge utility versus no change, high signal, low ambiguity. Oh, trending, highest grossing movie, Minecraft movie. Okay. Russia-Ukraine ceasefire, geopolitical catalyst with sustained volume and news-driven repricing. NYC mayoral election, overall event set. Clear resolution, multiple contracts allow relative value positioning across candidates, high liquidity reduces slippage, Bitcoin price ladders, near-term thresholds. Highly liquid mechanical thresholds. F1 driver championships, season-long stats-heavy market with frequent news. Liquidity plus data transparency makes it a skill-expressive market versus vibes. Solana August price ladders, Ethereum ladders. World Series, EPL, Super Bowl 2026 outrights. Why these make the cut, liquidity and spreads. These markets show meaningful volume and tighter spreads, making entries, exits practical. Well-defined authoritative sources, reduce tail risk on adjudication. I think this is really important when you don't have what was it? I think there was a recent bid where the decision wasn't very clear and that led to a lot of people losing money. Because of clear resolution. Clear resolution is very important. How this entire bid, how this entire position is structured. Sports and major macro events dominate reliable sources on the platform. Edge surfaces, these categories provide quantifiable catalysts, macro prints, price levels, schedules, injuries, polls, instead of narrative-driven noise. You can also monitor the Polymarket leaderboard to mirror or fade top performers as a meta signal, but treat it as secondary to market structure / liquidity. If you want to convert this into a concrete playbook with target, entry, ranges, hedge pairs, and update triggers for each pick. I would like to make this into a shortcut. Let's call it Poly 10. By the way, yeah. Analyze Polymarket. Make it more professional. Review top 50 bids. Ignore the noise and give me the top 10 highest signal. What do they call it? Positions? Let's call it positions. Position sounds nicer. Poly 10. Alright, Poly 10 was good. Let's go back over here. Perplexity just messed up. What do we call it? Perplexity just messed up the links. John Wang. Okay, this should be it. 155. Crypto has been waiting for options to take off for the longest time, but never found PMF. Actually, options are already here. Prediction markets are just options in disguise, except they are 10x more legible for retail and simpler to trade. Options. Interesting. Hence product positioning for retail-friendly derivatives. Peter Kazinji on enterprise deal 3 closes. Enterprise sales requires technical win, business win, procurement win, missing any stalls, deals, technical, business, procurement, practical checklist for enterprise motions. Yeah, you didn't get it. Peter. Founder-led sales. Which one is it? This one. Founders. A great approach to inbox management for sales is acknowledgement separate from action. That is, in sales frequently you're going to have long periods of time when your calendar is blocked. Meetings, pre-call, prep for meetings, but it's important to pop into your inbox recurrently to look for potential action items. Pete, can you send me the SOC2 report for security? You can't act on it at the moment, but you can acknowledge it. Jumping on a call right now, but we'll revert after. In doing, you demonstrate urgency and also now know that you have a high criticality action item to calendar for action when you have a free slot. Moves the ball forward. Okay, this was it. Every enterprise deal needs 3 clauses: technical win, product fit, business win, ROI, value. Procurement win, items price, skip one, watch deals stall at the finish line. Technical win, business win, procurement. Return on investment, product fit, technical win, procurement win, terms, prices. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, that is a lot of things have to come together. Startup Orca and Patrick Collison advice. Early career leverage via high standards environment. Mentorship, lineage matters. Useful for hiring, career planning. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, Startup Archive is going to post a lot, so this is going to be hard to find, but here it is. All right.
There's an interesting book, Apprentice to Genius, that follows, or it's 3 or 4, it's 3 generations of scientists. So, someone who mentored somebody else, who in turn mentored another scientist, and they're all extremely successful. And the book is kind of this reflection on, this description of what they all did, but also this kind of reflection on, well, like, what is it that was transferred? For example, one thing it describes is, well, one of the most important and subtle questions in science is problem selection. Like, just how do you choose what to work on, right? No one tells you what to do, and you do have to answer this question multiple times. Like with a company, in some sense, you just have to decide like once, and then it's kind of, well, maybe it's an iterative process from there. Whereas in science, you're frequently pursuing completely new problems, and of course, you have to choose something that's sufficiently important and hard that it would be important if you succeeded, but also that it's not so intractable that you can't actually make any progress. And so the book describes how this is part of what the mentees describe that they learn from their mentors. Another thing they talk about is just learning about high standards and what high standards actually are. And when I talk to people in other domains, this is so frequently the thing that I hear from them, that when they worked with X person or Y organization or in Z environment or whatever, that they learned what great actually is, and that just permanently changed their sense for what their own standard for their work ought to be. And so maybe one version of what people at Apprentice should do is get some idea as to domains you're interested in or care about, but then figure out where can you learn the highest standards, where are the highest standards embodied, and where can you go and experience that firsthand.
Really cool. Really cool. Leverage via high standards environment, mentorship, lineage matters. Shruti on AI native coding stack, Claude, CodeRabbit, Warp. Technically useful combo for modern dev. Velocity implies a workflow where AI pairing plus review plus faster will boost throughput. Josh Liu on AI dev hiring bar. Prioritize devs already fluent with Cursor, Copilot, Claude Code. Zero ramp AI dev is new baseline. Recruiting filter and onboarding heuristic. Recruiting filter and onboarding heuristic. This makes sense. We just also learned about Coinbase, that Coinbase recently just fired, I think, right here. Coinbase CEO explains why he fired engineers who didn't try AI immediately. I've told multiple speedrun teams. Speedrun, okay. I've told multiple speedrun teams. That's a great domain name. Josh Liu. He's investing in games though. You probably played a game I worked on. Husband, goal dad, cook, point guard. That they should not be hiring any developers that aren't already set up, ramped up, and comfortable with Cursor, Copilot, Claude Code, etc. There is barely an excuse for big companies and none at all for startups. There's a difference between being familiar with these tools and just using them immediately instead of relying on your experience and knowledge to solve problems. I expect my devs and certainly use AI, but I also hired them because of their expertise. If they default to AI, then I wouldn't trust their decision making as much. It's like saying I know how to type, but you're using a typewriter on a keyboard. When you have A plus writing, M dashes are power moves, not sign of weaknesses. Yeah, there's a thing going on about M dashes recently. AI is counterproof to Einstein. Time doesn't exist since everything seems to be happening at once. AI is counterproof to Einstein. Time doesn't exist since everything seems to be happening at once. Megas and minnows, craftsmen and charlatans, technicians and tourists alike are all accelerating their activity even as they abjectly abbreviate their attention. We will first focus on the heady headlines before swiveling and zooming our lens toward the quieter periphery where fresh opportunity awaits for those with practiced patience. Wow. AI is counterproof to Einstein. Time doesn't exist since everything seems to be happening at once. Megas and minnows, craftsmen and charlatans, technicians and tourists alike are all accelerating their activity. Accelerating their activity is very interesting. It's like, yeah, now that you have the tools, you are, and once you start leaning into what is working, all now with AI, you can increase your velocity now. If you know what's working, you can lean more into it, and leaning more now means increasing velocity, accelerating that activity even as they abjectly abbreviate their attention. We will first focus on the heady headlines before swiveling and zooming our lens toward the quieter periphery where fresh opportunity awaits for those with practiced patience. This is good. This is good. Practiced patience. A high velocity slipstream of science, markets, and geopolitics now batters even the most stoic students of history. Be loved or loathed, but never ignored. Zuck's Pochapalooza 2025. LNA license and acquihire license plus acquihires a new M&A. LNA, wow. Theme, friction frontier. Over 50% of small VCs will involuntarily exit, as 5 VCs are planning to voluntarily exit. Lux team has invested over $500 million across 82 companies, even existing in the past few months. Attention is all you need in this AI frenzy if you can secure it. Einstein once said that the only reason for time is so everything doesn't happen at once. Attention is our most precious resource. It's also attenuating as virality, virtuoso ping pockets with push alerts. Wow. Be loved or loathed, but never ignored. A high velocity slipstream of science, markets, and geopolitics now batters even the most stoic students of history. Time today to Einstein's presumed chagrin. Wow, who is writing this? Quarterly letter. Bro, who's writing this? Can feel like a traffic jam of simultaneous emergencies. Attention is also the most important resource for artificial intelligence. Coincidentally, was a founder of Lux family company. Sakana AI titled the famous "Attention is all you need." Paper while still at Google, co-authoring the invention of transformers, which transformed AI into today's all-consuming phenomena. AI is counterproof to Einstein. Wow. Who wrote this? Who wrote this? AI is counterproof to Einstein. Time doesn't exist since everything seems to be happening at once. Megas and minnows, craftsmen, charlatans, technicians, and tourists alike are all accelerating their activity, even as they abjectly abbreviate their attention. We will first focus on the heady headlines before swiveling and zooming our lens toward the quieter periphery where fresh opportunity awaits for those with practiced patience. As the infrastructure layer, the CapEx surge underwriting AI models is already soaking up roughly 5% of US GDP, placing it shoulder to shoulder with the fiber optic and router binge of the 2000 tech boom, and only a short step below the sheet rock bonanza of the 2005 housing bubble. Capital today isn't being entombed in passive drywall, it's being wired into actively self improving, power hungry nervous system that learn, iterate, and compound even as they depreciate. Yet history suggests euphoric investors will overspend on AI capex, and it remains to be seen who captures the derivative value. More prudent investors, companies, or customers, though increasingly likely in that order. At the model layer, the AI market has split into two: closed models, charging for access and already generating revenue in the billions of dollars, versus open source alternatives that now perform nearly as well as their pricier cousins. This changes the investment calculus. The closed players enjoy 50 to 70 gross margins, but rapidly burn their revenues and new capital raises on training their models to capture every edge possible. Open source platforms can be more limited in their revenue potential, but scale efficiently with good enough performance and unbeatable cost per token inference. Smart money may own both sides: equity in the walled cathedrals and positions in the open bazaar. Smart money may own both the sides: equity in the walled cathedrals and positions in the open bazaar. That refined thinking has led to frantic strategic repositioning as companies race to offer differentiated options. OpenAI, which hasn't released an open source or open weights model since GPT-2, hosted on Lux Family Company, Hugging Face. It's interesting how they say Lux Family Company, not portfolio company. An open weights model, it claims achieves parity with its over mini proprietary model. Coming the other direction, Meta has starkly changed its course, rebuilding its superintelligence team through what we will call Poachapalooza 2025. Today, Meta can offer an individual AI scientist $1 billion to advance their capabilities, and that individual will turn it down to wait for a better opportunity. And the DOJ's determined deterrence to deal doing, we are witnessing the rise of LNA, license and acquihire, first pioneered by Microsoft with its acquisition of Inflection. Followed by Amazon with Adept, Alphabet with Character, Meta with Scale AI. It's story dancing around the intent of Delaware corporate governance and a serious threat to America's innovation economy. Future term sheets will contain clauses to protect stakeholders from talent raids, partial acquisitions, and orphaned equity, all vigilantly erected to guard the near future against present exploits endured vulnerably in the recent past. There's a great irony in the current frenzy for artificial intelligence. What is being acquired is not hardware or contracts, but human intelligence. The twist is that AI hands these human enormous leverage to engineers with Gemini 2.5 Pro, Claude 4 Opus, Grok 4, or ChatGPT O3 Pro may now outmaneuver a 100-lawyer firm or a legacy consultancy, because the playing field now depends more on implementation skill than headcount. Every white-collar profession faces the same reckoning. Yesterday's moats, maybe today's liabilities, and tomorrow belongs to whoever best orchestrates the machines. And tomorrow belongs to whoever best orchestrates the machines. Are firms placing enough attention on their own impending demise? Time may have stopped against Einstein's view, but it continues to flow mercilessly forward nevertheless, attending to the verified truth of AI's agentic future. Pop the hood on today's intelligence engine, and you will find the choke point isn't silicon horsepower. Those metronomic doublings are now table stakes, but it's a labeled nuance, the rare isotope of modern cognition. Isn't defined by model size, but between what we can verify and what we can't. We can train an AI model to solve differential equations because every answer resolves to binary truth, correct or incorrect. But ask that same AI to write a compelling opening to a novel and gets lost in a wilderness of taste. Is it was a dark and stormy night, genius or cliche? Is call me Schmal immortal or just stirs? AI like Walt Whitman contains multitudes. Can be superhuman at chess and protein folding, yet easily fumble at tasks of taste. It can be superhuman at chess and protein folding, yet easily fumble at tasks of taste. It isn't the verification is hard. It's that verification is today's rate limiting step for AI progress. Wow. The math is brutal. Even the 99% reliable agent degrades to 60.5 after just 50 sequential decision tasks, each error cascading through the system like spidering cracks in tempered glass. In the vast expanse of human endeavor where good is contextual or cultural, there is still space for humans. Meta's raid on Scale AI was a smash and grab for label nuance, securing the data infrastructure necessary for its next generation proprietary models. Wow, this just keeps going. This is a lot, but I'm very sleepy to read this entire thing, but I would love to read this. I'd love to read this. New Lux Quarterly LP, letter, theme, friction frontier. Zuxpochapalooza. What's acquired isn't hardware but human intelligence. What we can verify. Friction is the first villain of physics, the thief of efficiency that steals energy from every moving part, making our engines run hard and our transmissions grind. Wealthy always knew dollar's greatest luxury isn't what it can buy, but what it can bypass. The jet that leapfrogs TSA, the concierge doc who answers, Disney guide who spirits you past sweating masses. Friction frontier lies in mapping AI's metabolism, finding where silicon speed meets carbon constraint. AI can dream up chip architecture in microseconds, but TSMC's fabs run on geological time. AI can generate perfect building blueprints, but concrete still cures at its own cadence. Mapping AI's metabolism. Silicon speed meets carbon constraint. Wow. AI can generate perfect building blueprints, but concrete still cures. Oh my god. This is really good. Wealthy always knew dollar's greatest luxury. Friction is the first villain of physics. Biotech is shifting from fixing broken people to upgrading functional ones. Wow, biotech is shifting from fixing broken people to upgrading functional ones. On markets to deviate from consensus, you must know the consensus, how everyone else directs their attention. Below are POV on the daily distraction tape. The headlines better to orb than echo. This is amazing. I want to tweet this. What do they say? Lux Capital. Q2 letter. Biotech is shifting from fixing broken people to upgrading functional ones. Lux Capital Q2. Q2 25 letter 2025. Zuxpochapalooza. To deviate from consensus, you must know the consensus plus how everyone else directs their attention. Viewing the daily distraction to the headlines, better to ARP than echo. We fund must-have teams plus technologies and markets with oligopolistic industry structure that can foment bidding competition that leads to rationally irrational prices to buy R plus our founder stakes. Wow. New co-investment special UK, Israeli, Japan, Bulgaria team spanning AI defense, cyber relevant, also the US plus free plus democratic world. Superhuman intelligence imminent, where does it leave us humans? Irony is the cultural critic, the bedside nurse with grace. Humanity accentuates the second syllable of healthcare, the blue-collar worker who we all thought would be most disrupted by the march of tech and firmly plant their feet with their finely honed skills plus judgment. White-collar worker, screwed. Wow, this was amazing. This was amazing. Rowan Paul, MIT report, 95% of GenAI pilots fail. Most GenAI pilots show zero ROI. The 5% win by building learning systems with real integrations, not just toward systems thinking and measurable value. I think this is a report that recently came out that All in Pod was discussing. Wipe code at Fang. Compiling in real time, the race towards AGI. Daily top 1% AI analysis news that are directly to your inbox. 79K. US layoffs, GitHub. You want to look at the GenAI pilots? Okay, right here, right here. An MIT report that 95% of AI pilots fail spooked investors, but it's a reason why those pilots fail that should make the C-suite anxious. Most companies are stuck because 95% of GenAI pilots produce zero ROI, while a small 5% win by using systems that learn, plug into real workflows, and improve with use. Teams keep buying or building static tools that demo well but cannot remember context adapter for daily operations. And this report maps exactly how the few winners do it differently, how they ran the study. The big split they call the GenAI divide is simple. Get nothing from GenAI pilots while a tiny 5% extract millions, and the driver is not the model itself but whether the system can learn, remember, and fit the workflow. Learn, remember, and fit the workflow. Wow, 30 to 40 billion enterprise investment to GenAI. The report uncovers a surprising result in that 95% organizations are getting zero return. Limited disruption, enterprise paradox. Big firms lead in pilot volume but lag in scale up. Investment bias, budgets were visible, top-line functions over high ROI back office, implementation advantage, external partnerships see twice the success rate of internal builds. The steep drop from pilots to production for task-specific GenAI tools reveal the GenAI divide. Top barriers to scaling AI in the enterprise, generic LLM interface versus integrated tool, executives select GenAI vendors. Flexibilities when things change. A vendor we trust, deep understanding of our workflow, minimal disruption to current tools, clear data boundaries, improve over time, flexibility. Adoption is high, transformation is low. Boost individual productivity more than P&L, which explains the perception gap between busy usage and flat business results. Where disruption actually shows up, only two industries, technology and media, show real structural change. Technology and media, while 7 others remain mostly unaffected. Advanced industries, financial services. I think advanced industries goes back to the same concept that Concrete will dry at its own time. That's physics you cannot change. You cannot change by plugging in ChatGPT 5, the newest model. Financial services, consumer and retail, healthcare and pharma, professional services. The pilot to production cliff. Enterprises evaluate lots of custom tools, but only 20% reach pilot and just 5% ship to production. Generic chatbots. Speed matters more than size. Mid-market leaders go from pilot to full rollout in 90 days, while large enterprises take 9+ months of speed plus tight scoping. Speed plus tight scoping beats big bang programs that try to solve everything at once. The shadow AI economy. Even when companies do not buy official seats, employees still use personal LLMs at work, with regular use reported 90% of survey companies. ROI hides elsewhere. Budgets chase visibility. The learning gap. Cannot retain feedback, adapt to context, or improve over time, which creates brittle UX and pushes users back to flexible consumer chat interfaces for low-stakes tasks. Quick drafting and simple analysis, but for complex, long-running, or high-stakes work, human win by roughly 9-1, which is another way of saying memory and adaptation are the bottleneck, not raw fluency. Agentic systems are the fix. Agentic AI meaning systems with persistent memory, continuous learning, and autonomous orchestration directly targets the gap by carrying context across sessions and improving with feedback instead of starting cold every time. Vertical SaaS, high customization. What winning builders do. The vendors that cross the divide focus on narrow, high-value workflows, integrate deeply, and ship learning loops that 66% of executives explicitly want, alongside context retention that 63% demand. The emerging stack. MCP, agent to agent, make it easier to compose agents that interoperate, which is why the window is closing for generic wrappers that cannot learn or connect to real tools. Frameworks like Nanda, how the best buyers behave, what real results look like, where the real ROI lives. Front office gains include lead qualification 40% faster and retention up 10%, while back office wins hit budgets harder with BPO elimination worth 2 to 10 million per year, 30% lower agency spend. These savings mostly replace external spend rather than staff, although advanced adopters report selective displacement in support and admin at 5 to 20%, and tech or media leaders expect slower hiring over the next 24 months. The agentic web. As agents learn to discover, negotiate, and coordinate across the internet via shared protocols, workflows shift from static apps to dynamic coordination layers that assemble right tools on the fly. Agentic web, where autonomous systems can discover, negotiate, and coordinate across the entire internet infrastructure, fundamentally changing how business processes operate. Protocols like MCP, agent to agent, and Nanda, which enable not just agent interoperability but autonomous web navigation. Agentic web systems will autonomously discover optimal vendors and evaluate solutions without human research. Establish dynamic API integrations in real time without pre-built connectors. We need to test something. Okay. Find the video, keep coming back to, find important and unanswered emails, summarize the topics of my YouTube views, look up recent perplexity updates, find the last Wikipedia page from browsing history, and give me the summary. Find the optimal mattress that I should purchase. Your primary sleep position, approximate body weight range, whether you sleep hard, any pain issues, budget range. Okay. Map your profile. Actually, not this. Let's see. Trending on social, teach me comment. We need to start comparing this. Maybe we'll do this tomorrow. Early experiments show procurement agents identifying new suppliers and negotiating terms independently. Customer service systems coordinating seamlessly across platforms and content creation workflows spanning multiple providers with automated quality assurance. This is pretty good. View 3 rate limit doubling. Okay. Creation on OpenAI Codex underrated. Code developed in the cloud, value differentiates CLI tools versus complete the feature assistance, product direction and team enablement inside. Stony. Oh wow, Aave. Projected multi-billion WLFI value at current prices, strategic token exposure, node for DeFi watchers, Theo presence. Signal account for TypeScript Next.js performance and OSS patterns, follow for ongoing dev best practices. Arvind Srinivas, we looked into this. App launch, we looked into this. Wealth created for others. Reframe value by external wealth creation, helpful lens for product impact narratives and investor updates. Venture hit rate, ventures 90% wrong, yet still top performer underscores power, law, portfolio math, relevant for founder expectation, investor communication. Peter, again, nice. Enterprise sequencing nuance. If appearing multiple times reinforces practical sales, ops mental models worth operationalizing and enablement docs. GenAI on technical pitch routing risk. Only technical pitches get delegated down. Tailor narrative to economic buyer to avoid stall sales enablement guidance. Be easy to root for. Cultural heuristic for founder PM presence improves compounding social capital with patents. You didn't get it. Chair level practical. I don't know if this is an account name or what. Chair level practical, what is that? We don't know what that means. Prediction markets versus options. Okay, perfect. That's the stream. Extremely sleepy. Let's go to bed.